Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Living Fiercely. I'm your host, Tiana De Rey, and I help ambitious entrepreneurs stop playing small and start owning their power. And that starts with owning your time. You don't really need another time management hack. You need a wake up call because right now your time is being stolen. With every scroll, with every quick favor, every pointless meeting, it's all a theft. And the worst part is that you are letting it happen. Today, we are going to talk about something that most people avoid. We are talking about getting ruthless with your time, not polite, not efficient, but ruthless. Because the real truth is that the people who build empires aren't the most talented or luckiest. They are just the most intentional with how they spend their hours. They protect their time ruthlessly. And if you're someone who's tired of just being busy all the time, but still feeling behind, if you're done letting people treat your schedule like a free for all, and if you're finally ready to stop apologizing for having boundaries, then this episode is going to change how you see and use your time forever. So let's get into it. First, the time theft epidemic. So, most people are not just too busy, they are too distracted. I want you to picture this. It's 9 a.m., you have your coffee in your hand, you're ready to crush your biggest task, and then bzzz, quick question. Then another email marked as urgent. This someone pops in asking you for just 5 minutes, and before you know it, it's already 3 p.m. and you've done nothing that actually moves the needle. Just busy work. And that's why that happens. The average person gets interrupted like every 11 minutes, and it takes 23 minutes to refocus. So you're never actually working, you're just constantly recovering from previous interruptions. And that is not being productive. That's just death by distraction. And what really drives me insane is that we've just normalized it. We act like being available 24/7 is normal, and in some cases, maybe like a badge of honor. Like burning out is the price of ambition. And that could not be further from the truth. That is not success, that is just a chaos. High performers don't do more usually, they do less and better. They protect their time like it's sacred because, let me tell you, it is. Your time equals your life. So when you give it away carelessly, you're not just losing hours, you're losing pieces of your future. So today I'm going to show you how to take it back, not with some hacks or new planner, but with your own personal power. And if this already hits home, just pause for a second, click that follow button, and perhaps share it with someone who's constantly overwhelmed but refuses to set boundaries. Because this message might be exactly what saves their sanity. Now we're going to dive into that guilt trap that's killing your productivity. Let's talk about the monster that keeps you stealing your power. That is guilt, my friend. You know you need to say no. You know those times, you know those events that you don't want to go to, or friends invites, or birthdays, or, dinners, whatever else it is. You know you don't want to go there, and you need to set boundaries. But then the guilt creeps in. What if they think I'm selfish? What if they think I'm not a good friend? What if I miss an opportunity? Oh my gosh, that was my main one, FOMO. I lived years and years in FOMO until I finally learned to set boundaries. Or what if I hurt somebody's feelings? You know what? The truth is, you will always hurt somebody's feelings, but you don't have to be rude about it, and you cannot control how other people feel. So let me tell you something. Guilt is the leash that keeps powerful people small. And again, I'm not saying that you need to be rude about it. I'm just saying that you need to let go of that guilt, especially for high achievers and givers. You've been trained to believe that your worth comes from how much you give, how available you are, and how accommodating you can be. But let me give you a reality check. Nobody is losing sleep about wasting your time. Nobody feels guilty for interrupting your deep work. Nobody is worried about whether you are going to get to your goals or not. So why are you carrying this emotional weight for everyone else? Every time you say yes to something that doesn't serve you, you're saying no to your future. And I want you to see it that way. Every time you want to say yes when you mean no. I just want you to realize that you are saying no to your future in that moment. You're choosing somebody else's comfort over your own progress. You're trading 5 seconds of awkwardness for years of your lost potential. And this is not only co-workers and your friends, this can be family members too. And I've experienced that on my own skin. It's hard. It really is difficult, but we need to set those boundaries in order for progress, for your own progress. And it's not about, being nice. It's about neglecting your own dreams. And this is what I want you to remember. The people who get offended when you set boundaries are the ones who were benefiting from you not having them anyway. And I'm sure you have read this somewhere or heard it somewhere, but I want to repeat it so it gets in your head. Those are the only people that are going to be upset with you having boundaries. So stop feeling guilty for protecting the resource that builds your entire life, and which, by the way, is limited. You can never get it back. Your time isn't a community project. It's your empire's foundation. And this is a real cost of always saying yes. Let's look into what all these quick yeses are actually costing you. First, it's costing you money. Every hour you spend solving someone else's problems is an hour that you're not building your own business, serving your clients, or improving yourself. You might as well just hand them cash. Second, it's costing you opportunity. While you're stuck in reactive mode, others are building momentum, expanding their reach, and creating impact. So you're busy being useful, and they're busy being unstoppable. And third, it's costing you energy. You are not just tired, you're emotionally bankrupt. You've given away your best focus, best creativity, and drive to things that don't even move the needle for you. And fourth, it's costing you your own self-respect. When you constantly say yes to everyone else, your own goals become optional. You start feeling resentful, scattered, and small. You stop trusting yourself to follow through. So people who actually achieve greatness don't guard their time because they are arrogant or selfish or don't care about others, but they guard it because they understand that every yes is a trade. And when you trade your time cheaply, you undervalue your potential. So here is what I call the Ruthless time protection system. And it's going to help you rebuild your power. First is the hell yes filter. So I want you to write down your top 3 priorities for this quarter. It can be for the year or, let's start with this quarter. Put it on a sticky note, put it somewhere where you can see it daily and remind yourself, what are your hell yeses? So if some random request doesn't move you toward one of these 3 things that are your top priority, it's a no, period. You don't need to explain. You just need to protect and focus on your mission. Second is the auto no list. So this is your shield. Mine includes meetings without agendas, last minute invites, unpaid great exposure projects, or pick your brain calls or anything that starts with, it will only take 5 minutes, but it's in the middle of my day. If it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. And then we have the power scripts. So I suggest, and what helped me is make like ready-made responses for when that people pleaser brain kicks in. I want you to have a few ready answers so that you don't automatically go to yes because you didn't feel comfortable saying directly no. And it can sound something like this. Thank you so much for thinking of me, but I'm focused on other priorities right now. Simple, kind, polite, and still speaks through, gets the message through. Or for example, that is not aligned with what I'm working on right now. Again, simple, no questions asked. Or I appreciate the offer, but it's not something I can commit to right now. It doesn't need a backstory. You say it calmly, respectfully, and no need to over-explain. Those are some of my examples. You can think of situations where, that you get into that you're not comfortable saying no, maybe some situations that repeat. Have a few ready answers, premeditated, so that you are not caught off guard. And then we have the redirect rule. So that's just people coming to you when they can go and find answers somewhere else. For example, you can have a FAQ section on your website. Or if somebody asks you for a favor, oh, hey, you can ask John, Stacy, or whoever. They're great at doing that thing. Or there's a really good step-by-step YouTube tutorial for that. Like, not everything deserves your time. People can get help elsewhere. Like, same quality of their help or even better. And you're still being kind. You are just not a crutch, and you are saving your time for things that really do matter. Then we have visible boundary. You need to make your boundaries obvious. Block focus time on your calendar. I want you to use autoresponders. Create your own office hours, and people respect what is clearly enforced. At first, maybe saying no will feel uncomfortable, but by the 10th time, it will feel empowering. By the 15th time, it will be your second nature. And what about the people who cannot handle it? Well, they're just confirming why those boundaries were necessary in the first place. So don't worry about them. And then we have what I like to call protecting your golden hours. Now that you've reclaimed your time, here's how to use it with precision. Guard your peak hours. Your first 2 to 3 hours after waking up, they are your sacred hours. That's when you build, create, strategize. No meetings, no emails, no interruptions, no other people problems. And then I want you to batch your work. So stop task switching like a maniac. Group similar tasks together. Emails, calls, content creation, admin. You'll get more done in 2 focused hours than an entire distracted, scattered day. Then use the investment test. Before saying yes, ask, is this an investment in my future or just an expense of my time? If it doesn't multiply your results or growth, it is not worth it, my friend. Create buffer space. Stop cramming every minute. Leave gaps between calls. Breathe. When your schedule has space, your mind has power. Then protect your rest. Exhaustion isn't a flex. It's failure. Tired brains say yes to things that don't matter. Rest isn't weakness. It is a strategy. And then you may ask how to deal with pushback. So let's make something clear. The moment you start setting boundaries, people will test them. Maybe someone will say, oh, you've changed. And you can say, oh, yes, I have. And it's for the better. I feel so much better right now. Or maybe they'll say, well, you used to be so helpful. And you can say, I still am. just not at the expense of myself. Or, some people can say, oh, but it will only take 5 minutes. You can tell them, well, I'm sure that you can handle it then. Some will respect you more, some will walk away, and that's totally fine. Because the truth is, when you become less available, you automatically become more valuable. Scarcity creates respect, and respected people get paid more, promoted, and prioritized. People will prioritize around your schedule. They will prioritize. If they need something from you, they will work around your schedule. So if someone can't handle your boundaries, that is really not your problem. It is your protection. And here's how you can build your time fortress. Here are some examples of how you can make your boundaries automatic. For example, you can create communication rules that work for you. If possible, check emails twice a day. If your business doesn't require you to be available on a short notice, set certain times when you are opening and responding to emails. Then you can use booking links. You can use auto reply with response times. You can train people to respect your time by modeling it. Then design your workspace for focus. Turn off your notification when you're working. Close all tabs. Use blockers, app blockers, time blockers. Your environment should fuel your discipline and not test it. Delegate like a CEO. If someone can do it 80% as well as you, hand it off. Perfectionism is just fear of letting go. Automate decisions, templates, SOPs, recurring tasks. Systemize them all. The fewer decisions you make daily, the more energy you'll have left for the rest of your day. Then schedule your priorities first. Your most important work goes on your calendar before anyone else gets access to it. Everyone else's request can fit around it or not at all. Having boundaries is not selfish at all. Having boundaries means having structure, and having structure creates freedom. It's your time, your rules. Every successful person you admire, they're not superhuman. They're just ruthless with their time. I mean, just think about it. If you think of Jeff Bezos or Tony Robbins or any other successful person, maybe not a business successful person, maybe a celebrity, do you really think that these people can be bothered any time of the day for anything at all, even by their friends and family and closest people to them? Hell no. They say no more than they say yes. They don't apologize for protecting their energy. They understand this. Your time is your life. And I'm sure that other people around them also respect them, and they respect their time, and they know that those people are busy. You have to create this standard for yourself. So stop apologizing for having standards. Stop being the fixer, the rescuer, the always available one, because I can assure you that people who are always available are not successful people. Start being the person whose time commands respect. And you will also feel great about yourself once you start doing that. Because at the end of your life, you won't wish that you answered more emails. You'll wish that you had more moments of meaning. Your time is your legacy. And how you spend it day to day is what creates your legacy. This was another episode of Living Fiercely, and if this episode gave you that fire to finally start saying no, hit that follow. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review and tell me what has been the most meaningful insight so far. And please don't forget to share this episode with people in your life who need to hear it, so that they can start living their best and most empowered life, one boundary at a time. Until next episode, stay fierce, my friends.